Nice too, because like she told you her pain point, right? And I think it's important that we always ask what their pain points are. And that's actually, we're going to talk about that today too, because then we can do the thing that maybe the last three stylists haven't been able to do. So it's really important to ask those questions during the consultation and actively listen. And while they're telling us things, how can we create a solution? Because that's what it's really about. People are coming to us. I mean, yes, they want pretty hair, but they're coming to us for solutions, and it's our job to do as much as we can to create that for them. Get started. So today's objective is to really teach you the mindset and the habits and the strategies on how to be proactive with your own schedules. Okay. You guys, this career is going to give you what you put in, hands down. You cannot wait for things to happen to you. You have to take action. That's why I'm like constantly messaging you, like, hey, reach out to these people or do this on social media, because the more effort you put in, the faster you're going to build. Like I think about Maggie, who had a full schedule in 3 months. It wasn't because like the salon was spilling the books for her. Yes, we do our part, but it was because she took action and took advantage of every single opportunity that came her way and actually put herself out there, right? And this is going to be mindset over anything. It is going to be you versus you. The way that you have to work through fear, the way you have to get over people telling you no, the way you have to get over not taking things personally is what is going to build success for you. And yes, there are going to be pain points. Someone will be like, no, why are you messaging me? Or no, I don't want that, and it's not, it's our job to not take that personally. And it's to build that resilience that every single time you hear no, just know that there is eventually going to be a yes. I forgot who it was. There was some, maybe it was like Amazon or something. He asked like 300 people, or I don't know, a crazy amount of people to invest in the company. And imagine if he would have stopped at 50. Do you know what I mean? So it's like just the resilience to keep on pushing forward and to truly understand that nothing is personal and it is going to be the actions that you guys take. So, this is the biggest issue that all stylists have. You guys are so afraid of money. And you need to stop thinking about it as taking people's money. People are sitting in your chair because they want to get their hair done. People are choosing you all because they want your opinions. They're there to get a service. So instead of thinking of it as taking someone's money, you need to think of it as an exchange of energy. And this is why it's so important that we give our all to our guests, no matter what level we're at, because when we're giving our all, we are okay with charging, right? It's when in our minds, we know that we didn't do our best, or maybe we're not 100% confident in the service, that is the hesitation on wanting to charge, right? And we cannot get in people's heads and their pockets. We don't know what everyone's budget is. We don't know how much money they make. We don't know what they want to spend their money on and what they don't. You need to stop projecting your own personal preferences on people. So if you wouldn't pay for something, it doesn't mean that somebody else won't pay for it, or it doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't want it. We have no clue what people want until we ask, right? You get into the mindset of, I have no idea what this person wants. I'm not going to assume that they don't want what I'm offering. So I'm going to ask every single time. Okay. You have to remember too that you guys are providing a beautiful service. And you also need to remember it's not just about the hair we do. Like I know I just talked to you about this. It's about creating connection, building trust, and creating an amazing client experience. You could be totally mid at doing hair and give an amazing client experience, and the client will still think it's worth the value. So if you're in a place where you're like, I just don't feel like my technical level is there yet, then where do you need to compensate during the service to make it worthwhile? Do you need to give an extra long scalp massage? Do you need to really give an amazing consultation? Do you really need to dote on the client with the snacks and the amenities that we have? We have heated blankets, which nobody does. And every time I put those on my clients, they're like, oh my God, this is so nice. So like if you're lacking in one area, what can you do in order to make it valuable to the client? And we need to get out of our own heads and out of the fear that we feel and put our mindset into a solution based mindset, right? Like, where can I over deliver where I know that I can't maybe deliver to the expectation that the client is expecting in other areas? This is going to be, no matter what industry you're in, right? You need to put thought into your career. This is not a job, right? You can't just show up, clock in, and do the bare minimum, especially now more than ever, you guys. People are literally being very cautious on where they're spending their money now because of the economy. And I hate to bring that up, and I don't want to put you guys into a fear mindset, but you really have to make it worth it. So, how can you do that? How can you put thought into every single client sitting in your chair? How can you personalize the service? How can you make them feel extra special? Like, we just had a client who, with these meta ads, we're getting some weird experiences that are happening in the salon. This client thought she booked an appointment. She did not book an appointment. So she's sitting in the front and she's supposed to be with Maggie. Maggie's not available because Maggie has someone else sitting in her chair, right? I went into solution based mindset and mode, right? Like, I saw the way Jackie was handling it. She was doing a great job. I'm like, this is not going to be good. Like, this lady needs to see evidence. She needs to see that we did not call her because everything is logged. And how can I turn this around so that she has an exceptional service? So I walked up, I sat up front with her. I was very empathetic. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Let me show you, let me look on my computer to see where maybe the error happened. I pulled up her messages on Meta. I pulled up our call log. I showed her that we record all conversations. There was no conversation of her booking the appointment. I offered her a free gift. And I was like, what can we do for you right now? Like, I would love to get you taken care of. We have our stylist, Alina, who's available. She's like, well, I'll just get a touch up and, a haircut. I'm like, we'll totally comp your haircut today. She sat down. I made sure to bring her snacks, even though she said she didn't want snacks. I made her a special drink, and she was wowed by the time she left. And then she rebooked with Maggie to come back for the service that she wanted. So we can't go into panic mode. We have to stay calm and we have to think of, what can I do to resolve this issue? Sometimes there's going to be people where you can't, right? But there are going to be other people who are definitely going to be able to be won over. And that's what we have to do with every person sitting in our chair. We live in such a digital world right now, and people are lacking real connection. So, and people don't feel valued in their life by their kids, their husbands, maybe their friends. So when we can make somebody feel incredible while they're sitting in our chair, you will have a lifelong client, even if you aren't at the level where you think you should be, right? Because we are all overcritical of ourselves, okay? So I really want you guys to take the time and look at your schedule and do the extra work and put in the extra effort to really ask yourself, how can I make this person's day? What can I do to create an exceptional experience? Even if that's reaching out and, through Hyperconnect and being like, hey, I'm excited about your service. What's your favorite drink? Or what is your favorite part of the experience? I want to make sure that you have a great time when you're in the salon. Those are the extra things that honestly you guys have to do, because it's you creating the connection with the client. Like, we can do those things, but it's not going to hit the same as if you guys do it, because it's the person sitting in your chair. Does that make sense? And it literally takes, like, take an hour every week, like on a Monday. Look at your schedule, copy and paste message. It takes no time just to do a little bit extra of, reaching out or whatever it is to truly start the experience off great, especially if it's a new client. And it's not just for new clients. A client isn't yours until they have sat in your chair at least 3 or 4 times. They will try you once. If you're okay, they'll maybe try you again. And then the third time is, okay, this is potentially turning into my client. And then if they book again, then it's your client. Like, you've landed the client. So it is not just like a one and done experience. Also, reaching out to the guest after. Again, it takes like 2 seconds to do a copy and paste message and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. How is your hair? Or Did you, use that styling tip that I recommended, or, that product that I recommended, or the product that you bought? How is that working for you? And, that gives you the opportunity again to really make sure that the client is taken care of, but also gives you the opportunity for them to come back. Like, we always want clients to feel comfortable coming back to us if they're not happy, and people most of the time won't reach out. But if you reach out to them, it'll give them the opportunity. Get your mindset out of the client isn't losing money when they come to you. We're not like taking out of their pockets. They're investing in themselves and they're choosing to make that investment. So we have to keep that mindset of, I'm so glad you're investing in yourself today. Use that verbiage, because sometimes clients feel bad about spending money. That is not our problem. We didn't force them to book the appointment, right? So really thinking about the way you say things as well. Like, whenever we're talking about extensions, we always call them an investment. Like, if someone's like, oh, it's too expensive, our response is, oh, I know it's an investment, but it's going to be totally worth it. So even like incorporating that verbiage into your consultation will make a huge impact on the way that your client thinks about the service that they're receiving. Okay. Okay. So mindset for money growth. You all have the power to create any income you want. You need to stop playing the victim. Your life is not happening to you. You can literally create anything you want. If you want to be a six-figure stylist, you can do that. It's not going to happen on accident. It's not just going to like appear one day. What is going to create an amazing income for you is the tiny little things you do every single day that compound to create a bigger outcome. I want you to think about compounding interest. Does anyone's parents here talk about money with them? No? Okay. A little bit. Compounding interest. If you put $100 in the bank and the bank is giving you a 3% interest, the longer you keep that money in there, the more it's going to grow, right? So say you're getting 3% interest every month. That's like what? $3. So imagine $3 every month building and building and building and building. By the end of the year, you're going to have more money in there because you did the hard thing, which was not spend the $100, right? It's the same thing for us as stylists. We have to do the hard little you have to do the hard little things every day. It's either you can suffer now, right? And, do the hard thing that is uncomfortable, or you can suffer your whole entire career and never get where you want to be because you never took action. So the power is in your hands, okay? It is all mindset when it comes to money, because it is something that is so hard for people to even like look at. It's hard for people to talk about. It is hard for us to manage sometimes, but it's not focusing on the negative of that, right? The idea is to look at the problem and create a solution. So if you're not making the money that you want, what is the solution to that? What 10 little steps do you have to do every single week to really make sure that you make a change in your life? And it's not sitting at home doom scrolling and posting a picture here and there that is going to create a crazy amazing outcome for you, right? It is going to be taking action. And we're going to talk about some steps today. Okay, so you guys need to all understand your value, right? And I think that is another issue on why stylists don't make money, because you guys lack confidence, especially newer stylists. You don't see the value in yourself. Again, this is going to have to be a daily practice. You need to focus on the things that you're good at, because that is what's going to shift that mindset for you, and that's what's going to change the thought process on what your value is. Yeah, good. So yeah, you'd probably be like, oh my God, I feel bad charging this person full price for this service, right? Again, it's going back to, if we feel bad charging full price because we're not confident in our skills, you guys, that's a pain point. That is the universe saying like, okay, if I want to do this service, then what can I do to actually get myself to the level? I can teach you guys all of the things. I can have all of the classes here. I can show you how to do things, but I cannot make you good at them. The only person that's going to make you good at them is you. And that is with practice. No matter what industry you're in, you have to practice to be good. Do you think lawyers who are going to court for the first time are going to be good at arguing? No, it takes practice, right? Do you think doctors in their office are going to be good at, analyzing what's wrong with people. I mean, they've got ChatGPT now, but no, right? It's going to take time. You can either choose to put the work in now and do the little things when you have time now to work on the things that you need to do to be the best, because no one can do that for you. I just can't. I can't do that for you. Only you can do that for you. So honor yourself and your career and really put the time in to really hone in on what you want to excel at. You guys are so lucky. You literally have so many resources. Like Kat, when you started doing hair and when I started doing, there was no YouTube. And you know what? People in salons were mean. Everyone were gatekeepers. They wouldn't share their formulas with you. They wouldn't share their techniques with you. And you literally had no resources. And a lot of salons, most salons did not offer good education. So it was hard to really get good. And you really had to work on, figuring it out on your own. So you guys have so many resources. You all do not understand the power of being a hairstylist that can actually give a haircut, because I feel like this is something that has been lost in the last few years, is that hairstylists don't want to cut hair. And I hate to break it to you, but everyone needs a haircut. Not everyone needs color. And even if they're, the value that somebody puts on a haircut is going to obviously vary. But if you can give a really great haircut, you can charge a lot. My one friend, she has a salon in Texas, and it's a cutting only salon. That's what they specialize in. But y'all, she charges $600 for a haircut and she's fully booked. That's what I mean. It is something that, like, if you are very good at and you give a consistent result every time and create the outcome that the clients want, they're really willing to pay anything. I mean, there's more that goes into that as well, like demand, marketing, um, her mission, values, and like the way that she actually is passionate about cutting, and she exudes that on social media, the way that she actually does her social media. So there's all these little components that create that ability to charge that much. But it's like, I think we need to get our head out of like what people will spend, because we have people over there and she's not really in, like, I mean, we're in the same kind of area that she's in. She's in Austin. But people are spending $600 for a haircut. So, I think we have to go back to the point I made, whereas we can't put our head in people's pockets because we don't know what they valued, or what they value. Like for me, I would never go without my extensions. I will figure out what I need to do to be able to wear my extensions. People will figure it out. If it is something that is meaningful to them, if it really makes them feel good, because people are coming to us for a feeling, they'll spend their money on it because they find value in it. Okay. So we also need to talk about removing limiting beliefs. I kind of already covered this. We can't have our minds in other people's pocketbooks. We don't know what they're wanting to spend. We don't know what they have in the bank. Just because somebody doesn't have a fancy purse, or somebody, doesn't look like they have money, doesn't mean that they don't have money. But this is also the reason why we need to talk about pricing. I would say one of the biggest complaints that we get is that you guys are not talking about pricing. And we have to be very clear, and we cannot give a flat price point. It's got to be a range. It's going to be $200 to $250 today, depending on what we do, and asking them what their budget is. And then if we cannot align with the budget for the look that they want, what can we do? We never want to turn away a client and have them leave with nothing, right? So how can we create a plan for them to get them from A to B? Okay. Okay. So, growth mindset. We need to really understand that we need to create trust with clients to get them to spend money with us, to get them to come back, that we need to educate them. I know we all want to get super personal with clients, and we want to, like, no, like, do you have a dog, or like, are you in a relationship, or, like, we want to talk about ourselves. We should not be talking about ourselves too much. If the client wants to know something about us, they will ask, right? And I know, like, that personal connection is important, but we also have to remember, like, 80-20 rule, like 80% about their hair, how we can create solutions for them, how we can solve their problems, how we can get to know them, 20% of talking about ourselves. Okay. Our industry is always changing and always evolving. And I think the way that people would put so much importance on their hair has really changed since COVID. I think before COVID, like people wanted their hair done for every holiday. They wanted their hair done for every wedding, any special event, birthday, whatever. They always budgeted for their hair. And after COVID, I think people really realized that the things that they thought were important are not as important as they thought. What was really important. Go ahead.
Also, what color?
Yeah.
Extended it to 3 months, every
Yeah.
3 months instead of.
You have to remember too, like, these are the pain points that people are experiencing. So if you have somebody who is on a budget, like, what can we do for them? Doesn't mean give them a discount. It does not mean discount. It means what can you do for them to provide the most amount of value so that they can feel good about themselves and feel good about what they're spending. But again, this is also why we need to talk about money with people, okay? And, really level the expectation. But yeah, I agree. It's totally changed. It's different, which is fine. It's like before.
So many more salons. I mean,
Yeah.
salons on each block.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't like that back then.
And that's why we have to be the best because there are a lot of options. So how are you going to be better than the stylist right down the street? And this is why, you guys, I know that there's so much like conversation on social media about like dress code and the way you dress. Oh, it doesn't matter. Well, it can show up in jeans and gym shoes. No, because that's what every other person is doing. I literally get dressed, like dress up, Jessica. You're good at this too. Every single time I'm in the salon, if I'm taking care of clients, like I always look my best. Because again, we're not just hair inspiration people, we're fashion inspiration for people. We give people ideas about what to wear. Sometimes when we push those boundaries and wear things that are a little bit more like, I don't know, like a little bit more edgy, like it gives clients the confidence to try it themselves. So it's like, what's one more reason why somebody wants to come to you? And that could be the way that you dress, right? Like I wear glasses and wear hats and do all scarves and do all these weird things. One, I don't care. It's fun. Yeah, I know. And it's literally another reason because yes. Well, let's do it. But again, it's like going the extra mile because the girls down the street are just wearing gym shoes and t-shirts and looking like Hailey Bieber, but not everyone is looking like a professional. So these are the things we have to think about because it is very competitive. Again, we don't have to be the best hairstylist. We're not going to be the best hairstylist when we start, but where can we be the best that other people aren't making the effort? Okay. Two, when we get a number, a realistic number, we have to be realistic because when we set a number that is not a realistic number to hit, then we're just going to get discouraged. So realistically, like we need to pick a number and then we need to work our way back on how to hit that. Is that with doing extensions? Is that doing lightning services? If you want to be a six-figure stylist and you want to be somebody who only does hair cutting, it's going to be really hard to hit six figures unless you are like a Vidal Sassoon, right? So if that's your goal, like I want to be a six-figure stylist who does haircuts, then what do you have to do to be that person? Because again, it's not just going to happen on accident. Do you want to charge $600 for lightning sessions? That's what you can. You absolutely can. And that's the thing about this industry. You can do anything that you want, but you have to take the steps to get there. Do you need to work on certain things with your lightning services, like your timing? Or do you need to work on your technique? Do you need to work on your formulation for toning? Do you need to work on your foil placement? Like, where are you lacking in that to create that, right? And we're here to help you. Like, if you're struggling with something, you can ask Cassie, you can ask me, you can ask Carly. Like, we're here to work with you. But if you don't tell us your issues or where you're struggling, we can't help you correct that. So it's also about communicating to us with your needs too. I recommend for all of you is creating a virtual business card on Canva. And if you do not know how to do that, I will show you. Do you have an iPhone? Yeah, you literally save it in your photos and then you can just airdrop it to everybody. So you don't ever have to worry about not having cards with you and just be like, oh my gosh, can I airdrop this to you? And then it's in their phone. So when they're scrolling through their pictures or they're not throwing it in their purse or throwing it in their pocket and losing it, like it's always in their phone too. Everyone always has their phone. Or you can text it to them. I know some people don't want to give out their phone number, but there are, free phone, numbers that you can get through Google that, you can use that number when you're out and about to like message people. But I recommend doing a virtual business card because it's always with you then. And I want to tell you guys not to get discouraged. It can take somebody up to 6 months to leave their current stylist. And that's why it's so important that you're consistent with your communication, like engaging with them on social media, consistent with your posting, and that you're creating a connection online, because a lot of people, they feel guilty, right? So like, how can you make such an impression that they like actually like have their push where they come and see you? There was this one client, okay. Well, I used to do live videos all the time on Facebook. It's horrible to do them. It's like so nerve wracking. You feel so stupid. People pop on that you do not want to pop on. It's like, why is this person popping on? Oh my God, I can't believe it's this person. But there was this one lady who came in, like I did a live video about a product for extensions. Like 20 minutes later, she walks through the door. She's like, oh, I want to buy that product that you were just doing the video on. And I was like, okay. She's like, I watch your live videos all the time, and I've learned more from you than I have my own stylist on extensions. I'm going to try you eventually. And I was like, okay. She's like, I've been with my stylist for a while. I feel bad, but like, I love the content that you put out. I was like, okay. 6 months goes by, and then she finally comes to the salon. So, people are watching you. Just because they're not liking, just because they're not commenting, it doesn't mean that you're not of interest to them. So again, get your head out of, oh, this isn't working, this is stupid, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not seeing any results, because results take time. So we have to just be consistent. We just got to keep on going, and eventually you'll get busier and busier. Vince, your technical level is great as well. And I feel like the way that you actually, like, you're very kind to your clients, the way you deal with your clients, the interactions are really wonderful. So I want you guys to understand money. Okay. Because a lot of us don't do the math, and we don't get it, and we get focused and stuck on the wrong thing. Okay. So how many of you are like, oh, I just wish I could make extra commission. I just wish I could make extra commission at the salon I'm at. That is not where you're going to make more money. Okay. So if you, let's just say, for example, you get 2% extra on $1,500 service sales. Okay. It's going to be $30 extra for you if you get an extra 2%. I know we've got like goals for commission that you're like, oh, I just need to get enough revenue in to hit the next level. You guys are focusing on the wrong things. The thing is, when you focus on what I'm going to tell you, you'll automatically get more commission because you're going to bring in more revenue. If you brought in $300 extra in add-ons, it will make you $150 extra every week. So would you rather have $150 plus the 30, or would you rather just have the 30? Does that make sense? Because when you're bringing in more revenue, you're going to hit that extra tier, and then you're automatically going to make money. If you do $300 worth of add-ons, that could be treatments, it could be brow waxes, because you guys are going to make a higher commission on add-ons. It could be a color lock and smooth, which is like $40 or whatever. It literally is, if you break it down to, let's see, $300, and if they're $25 each, what is that? That's 12 add-ons. Okay. That will bring in an extra $7,200 for you for the year. That's a car payment, right? That's life-changing money for you. If you just focus on the percentage, then it's going to be $1,400, which is like a vacation. You could have 3 vacations or 4 vacations or 1 vacation. So it's right. You know what I'm saying? So, so you really need to really understand that you have the power to create solutions, mission, or we can focus on how to get the commission and more money, right? Like, we have so many people sitting in our chair, and we have to go back to the compounding interest, right? 2 add-ons for 1 person, like, say you're like, oh, do you need your brows done today? Which we're going to show you how to do those, by the way. Do you need your brows done today? Or, what are you experiencing with your hair today? They're like, oh, I feel like it's a little dull. I feel like my hair is a little dry. I feel like my hair has been cracking off. You don't even need to sell them today. You can say, well, I think a great solution for you would be our hydrating treatment by Wella or whoever. That's why you guys need to get very familiar with what we have in the salon. And we can, do that for you today, or I highly recommend that you getting it for your next treat or your next session, because that's going to make a huge difference on your hair. Or if you have someone who's like, oh my God, I just feel like my hair is frizzy all the time. Like, okay, we do have a treatment for that. It's our color lock and smooth treatment. It's going to really eliminate that frizz. It's going to lock your color and your toner in today after we do your color session. It's an extra $45. I'm not sure if that's in your budget, but if it isn't in your budget today, then I highly recommend that we book that for you next time, because it will totally make a huge difference in the way that your color lasts and in how your hair feels. And it will make your styling time such a breeze, because you're not going to be struggling trying to eliminate that frizz or overloading your hair with a bunch of products that is probably not going to make your blowout last as long, right? Like, we just have to talk to our clients about what we can do for them.
I need to get to know the products.
Yes. I know we really do need to go over all that with you guys, so you know what we have to offer, because we do have a lot of treatments. We have a lot of smoothing options. We have 4 different smoothing options for people. We have
I don't even know one here.
and you just spray it on and you blow dry it in and you flat iron it. It's not even extra time.
Is that
The color lock and smooth. You have to take sections. You have to make sure that their hair is squeaky clean.
Is that
And
the back bar or
it's, I believe it's in the color room.
Oh, okay.
And you just take sections, you spray it on, and you blow dry it in and you flat iron it. So it's literally just applying a product, and it's an extra $45. So it's, again, we have to know the client's pain points so we can make real recommendations, because another way that we build trust is when we actually give solutions and then they work, right?
Yes.
When they work. And that is when clients are like, oh my gosh, she is the best, because I was struggling with this one thing, or this person couldn't get the color the way I wanted it, or I've been struggling with not knowing how to style my curly hair, and she showed me the right products and it actually worked for me at home. That's when you're going to create repeat guests, because what you tell them works. So it's another really important thing that you guys educate yourself on solutions. Like, I didn't know how to, by the way, I used that brush on my client and it worked so great. Yes.
I love it.
She loved it, which she left so happy. What was it? What kind of brush is it again? The bounce curl brush.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, around the edge. Yeah. So it helps you. I've always
give
wanted
the
curls the shape that it needs. Yeah. It really works.
And I was kind of nervous because when I pulled it through her hair, it like wasn't doing like the curl that I thought. And then I had her flip her head upside down. And then when I actually diffused it and she flipped her hair back, I was like, holy shit, this totally works.
Is it the lady did with the red hair?
Yes.
It looked amazing.
It looks so
she
good.
Looked so frizzy when she came in.
I know.
Yeah.
She looks so frizzy.
Amazing.
The back of her hair was not, like, the underneath was not curling for her. So like, it was a solution that I resolved, or a problem I solved for her, So I think really making sure that we're taking the time to understand what that is. Okay, hold on. Add-ons are going to be a game changer for you. Okay. I also want to talk about, again, we talked about getting more clients in. This is like a no-brainer. Like, you're going to make more money if you guys actually bring in clients. So how can you do that? How can you talk to people about their hair? How can you, be more outgoing when you're out and about? How can you ask your clients for referrals? Who can we message on social media to say, hey, I love you. I would love to have clients like you. I would appreciate if you recommended me if one of your friends is looking for a stylist. It's like those things that make us feel uncomfortable. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm messaging people. You just have to not care, because it's going to be like that one person that sends you 5 people, and it's asking for, asking for help. Like, hey, I just started doing hair at Opulent Beauty. I'm really trying to build my books. I would love for you to come in for a complimentary blowout. I would love to pamper you, to see the salon. I would love if you could, refer me to your friends. We have to ask for what we want. That is how you're going to get far in life. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to say is stop undercharging. I see so many people in the salon not charging because they feel bad. First of all, that's stealing from the salon. Just want you guys all to know that when you don't charge for something intentionally, sometimes we forget, but that is stealing. It's theft of services. We have to charge the appropriate amount. Okay. And we can't do things for free, because then that person isn't coming to you because they value you. They're coming to you because you're cheap. And you don't want to be the stylist that's the cheap stylist. Yes. I feel like, well, when you first start out, your blowouts are I think $25. So how can you make the experience here better for her to find the value in it? Because I think when people actually like get the whole client experience, get catered to, get the, amenities that we offer, the warm blanket, all of these things that they're not doing at school, that when they come and see you and you completely wow them, when they go back, they're like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now I get why. I think it's because she doesn't find value in it because no one's wowed her. Because I know, like, when I go to places for blowouts, which I have done often just because I want to see.
How the other salons are, or how they treat people.
Yep. Yeah. How they treat people, what their experience is like from start to finish booking the appointment. Was that easy? Wasn't it? Like, how was the receptionist? Like, how was I greeted? Like, just to look for ideas of how we can be better. But also, I like to pay attention to the things that annoy me. Like, one of the things that really annoys me is like, I know I have a shit ton of hair and I know that my hair takes time and I don't care if I have to spend extra, and I have no problem telling them that. Like, I have a lot of hair, I have extensions, I know I'll have to pay more. I just want to give you a heads up so there's enough time. The one thing that drives me crazy is when they reach for that quick blowout spray and they load the super dry spray. Like, there's those like blowout sprays that like lessen your blow dry time, and they overload my hair with that, and my hair is a greasy mess. I'm like, you're just trying to cut corners because you don't want to do it right. Right?
Do you tell them you're a stylist?
No. Mm-mm. Sometimes, like, if they're like, oh, what do you do?
Sometimes it intimidates people as well.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They get intimidated. So I don't really, I don't really share, but like, I've gone to the blow dry bars. I go to Lifetime. I mean, I've tried other salons, and I recommend that you guys do that too, just for a blowout, just to see and really pay attention to what made you go,
I've never liked the blowout I've gotten from any salon.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah.
My hair's always flat and limp.
Right. Yeah. Or they leave my hair wet.
I look like this, like I could do this myself. No blow dryer.
Yeah. Or they won't dry my hair all the way, and they try to curl wet hair because they don't have enough time right. So it's like, what are the things that annoy you when you go get a blowout somewhere? I highly recommend that you all do that. And I think too, like, understanding what a luxury service is. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have stayed at a 5-star hotel or if you've gone out to like a really fancy dinner. Like, we just went to Alinea for our anniversary, and it was the most expensive meal I've ever paid for. It was $1,000 for me and my husband to eat there. It was our 10-year anniversary. Yeah. I would not do that for anything else. And I've wanted to eat there forever. They've been there for 20 years, right? I wanted to go there for like 10 years, but like, I'm like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on food. But when I went, it was worth it.
Understood why.
I understood why. It's like, I walked in and they greeted us and they're like, oh my God, can I have your parking ticket or your valet ticket? We'll make sure your car is waiting for you when you are done with your dinner. And as soon as we were done with our dinner, my car was already waiting for me. The bathrooms were like crazy immaculate. Like, the restaurant was crazy immaculate. There was someone by our table all the time. When I got up to stand to use the restroom, and I did a couple times because we were drinking wine. I think that's what made it expensive, was like the wine pairing. I would never do that again because it was too much alcohol. But every time I stood up to go to the bathroom, literally 2 seconds, someone standing, let me walk you to the bathroom. So it's like those little things that like are so like you wouldn't think that they make a big deal, but that's why that they can charge. And the food was perfect. It was like, it was crazy. Like, there was like this little cube. It was clear jello, right? And there were these like, there was a green dot, a red dot, and a yellow dot. And then there was another dot. And I popped it in my mouth. It tasted just like a hot dog. It sounds so crazy, but I was like, oh my God, this is the best hot dog I've ever had. And it wasn't even a hot dog. I'm like, how did they do that? So it's like, they wowed me with like what they knew, right? And with every, right? It was like Chicago hot dog, because they're like, oh, you're in Chicago. Like, this is our version of the Chicago hot dog.
It is so awesome.
They educated us on every single dish they put down. There was like 15 courses. I mean, they were just small bites, told us the story behind it, what was in it. And then when they paired it with the wine, like why they chose to pair it with the wine, like where the wine came from, how they grew the grapes. I mean, like, it was an experience. It wasn't just having dinner.
Not just eating and
exactly, right.
Tasting and,
they didn't rush us, like, and it's just like, how can you do that for your client? How can you educate them and really make sure that like they have an experience and it's not just coming in for a haircut, right? Okay, so I know I talked about this in the last class. Okay, so we know that add-ons, right? Like that's how we're going to make more money. What can we add on to the service in a way that's going to be beneficial for the guests? And of course, always talking about income and like how much they want to spend. You guys need to pre-book. Like you guys have to pre-book. Okay, pre-booking. Kat, you grew up in an era where pre-booking is like a thing, right? I don't know again why people are getting away from pre-booking. I know people don't want to book, like far in advance or things. When you're a stylist with demand, people will want to pre-book because they won't want to not get their hair done by you. And they know that like if they don't, then they're not going to be able to get in. So we need to, even if we're not busy, we need to create, create demand, and it's going to set you guys up for success. If you can get, say you have 100 clients, we'll say 50 clients, okay? And if each one of those 50 clients books for one extra service a year because you're pre-booking them, they're coming in every 8 weeks instead of every 12 weeks, pull up your calculator. Okay, so 50 times 150. Say they're coming in for $150 service. That's how much revenue. And if you do your due times 0.42.
What was it?
0.42 multiplied by 10. Mm-hmm. Extra $3,000 for you guys just by getting your clients to come in one extra time a year. So that plus the,
each client. Okay.
Actually, yeah. So if you have 50 clients, you can get them to come in one extra service a year, and then add $5,000 onto that. Let's just say for add-ons, that's an extra $8,000 just from pre-booking and add-ons.
I didn't know if we're allowed to ask here if they want to.
Yeah, do it.
I need to get.
No. And you guys are setting yourself up also because your schedules aren't going to be empty. People are going to cancel. People are, going to want to reschedule. That happens, but it doesn't happen as often as we think it does.
No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes once every 2 weeks, when I hear the girls they cancel, it's like 2%.
Right.
That the people cancel.
Yeah. And not only that, like then people can budget for you. And then you can talk to them, hey, for your next service, it's not going to be as much as it was this time. Like we did the big service this time. So next time for your service, when you come back in, 8 weeks, plan for around $200 or $150, and we'll be able to touch you up at a lower price point because we won't have to do as much because you're coming in at this time frame. You have to make sure that they know it's less because they're coming in sooner than waiting the 12 weeks. So 8 weeks instead of 12. Okay. So it's these little things that are, again, they're small things, right? Like pre-booking, small thing, selling, not every client a retail item, but like, again, like if you sell 10 retail items and, you get your 15% commission on there, that can be an extra $50 for a week. So if you have your add-ons, that's $150. If you sell 10 products, that's an extra $50. If you get the clients to book and come in sooner, that's an extra $100. You're looking at an extra $300 a week. And I know everyone like thinks that like, oh, it's not that much, but it is when you stack it on top, right? It all adds up. Okay. Another thing that I want you guys to get really comfortable with is when you are pre-booking, look at your schedule. Okay. You want to make sure you have no holes or gaps in your schedule. This is another reason why I wanted to bring like brow waxing and that stuff in, because it's like little time slots that you can fill if you have little gaps. But if you have, say you have, okay, your schedule's open, you're open from, 1 to 9. Okay. Say you have a 1 o'clock appointment in there and they're booked until 3. Do not offer that person a 4 o'clock. Offer them a 3 o'clock, or offer them the time slot at the end of your day so you still have a chunk in the middle that allows you to book for a big service. Does that make sense to everybody? Because if you have a half hour here, a half hour there, and a half hour there, if you're making $50 for every half hour, that's $150 lost for the day because you can't put anyone in there. So you need to make sure when we are pre-booking that we're looking at the schedule and we're leaving time available so we can get bigger services in. And again, like say you have somebody who wants to get in for a partial highlight, and again, you've got, you know, an hour here or 30 minutes there, like if that was just up a little bit more, you could have fit that client in. So we have to be strategic with the way that we're booking people. So either at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, if you work a shorter shift, say you're working like a 3 to 9, don't schedule someone smack in the middle unless they can't do anything else. If you offer them, well, can you do 3 o'clock or I can do a 5 o'clock that day? And they're like, oh, that doesn't really work for me. Like, you know, I have to pick the kids up from school and, you know, I want to make sure I get home before bedtime. Then that's when you offer them the 4 o'clock or the 4:30, right? But you have to fill the other time slots first. If you want to make more money in the salon and you want to do that with the least amount of effort possible, what are the most expensive services you offer? What are the most expensive services the salon offers? Corrective color, extensions, smoothing treatments, right? Big blonding sessions, right? And those are going to take up more time in your schedule. So you need less clients to fill your schedule. Okay. And then we kind of fill in with the other things. Okay. So multiple streams of one add on. Okay. So let's say you add a shine treatment, you add a hair like conditioning treatment, and then you add a brow wax. Okay. Your ticket is going to be $140 more, right? And a lot of those things only take 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So it's maximizing the amount of revenue you bring in. An add on, a retail product, and a pre booking. Like those are all going to guarantee you more money. Okay, so these are the things that we offer. Again, we're solving people's problems. Color lock and smooth, Redken shine treatment. We have a variety of treatments. We have them stacked over there. Offering them a scalp massage and charging them for it. Like, do you want a 15-minute scalp massage? It's an extra $15 for today or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like these things that like you guys don't need permission to do that. Like I would pay an extra $15 for someone to rub my head for 15 minutes. I would. But if you're going to do it, be the best at it, right? So it's worth it. Okay. You know, do you have someone coming in for a haircut that has highlights and they're looking a little brassy? Or do you have somebody who has faded ends that is in for a haircut and you have the extra time? Hey, I noticed that your ends are faded today. Would you be interested in a color refresh? It's just a toner. It's going to add a ton of shine on your hair. It's really going to refresh your ends. It's going to even out your color, add tons of vibrance. I have time for that today. Is that something you're interested in? And if they're like, no, it's okay. You're like, okay, no problem. Next time you come in, I would really love for you to schedule that. It would make a huge difference on your hair. It's going to really make you feel like you just got your color done for a fraction of the price, right? Or if someone's coming in with brassy hair and you're like, well, this could look better. A root smudge and a toner. You know, if they've got roots, they don't want to come in for a full lightening session. How do you feel about refreshing your color a little bit today? I see that you have some outgrowth with your highlights and you're probably not ready to get them done yet. But if we do a root smudge, a toner, and a treatment on you, it would make a wild of a difference on the way your hair looks. Is that something you're interested in today? Again, just making suggestions to what you can see needs to be done. Okay. Also, we do have packages, guys. We have a blowout package. We have an extension package. We're going to do a color like membership. You guys get commission on the sale of that. So you can sell it to your client and make $69 if you talk about the extension maintenance package. And that's just for you to keep, just for selling the package. So there are other things that you guys can do, and that's not necessarily that you have to even offer them. You know, maybe you don't do extensions yet, but you're doing blowouts on extensions. Oh, what are you doing for your maintenance? Did you know we had an extension maintenance package? It's $6.99. You get A, B, and C, and it would save you this amount of money for the year. I'm not sure if anyone's talked to you about that, but I see that you're coming in this often for your extensions, and I think it would be something of value to you, right? And then of course we have tape extensions. You guys, it takes 5 minutes. But tape extensions, you guys, you guys make 15% commission on tape extensions. And it makes such a difference when you put even just 2 pieces on somebody's side, especially somebody who wants a bob, but they don't have the fullness in the front. Or say somebody, got their hair broken off, that went to another salon and they over lightened their front and now they've got like a mullet, right? Like just popping in a couple pieces is going to change their life, but it's also going to provide more income for you. And we have everything in stock. Like it's just you talking to your clients about it. We have panels, we have your regular tapes. And if somebody is just needs a little bit more fullness, you can literally pop 3 in the back, pop 2 on each side, and it's like a whole new head of hair. And I don't think it's that expensive. It would be like 300 bucks for 10 pieces or whatnot. So you'll change their life. And then again, now they're coming in for maintenance on their tapes, right? So it's something that you would rebook and an extra service. Removing them and putting them back in, again, doesn't take that much time, but it is still more revenue for you for their next appointment. If you have someone coming in for a haircut and they can't get the shape that they want, or they're not be able to get the curls to last, because having extensions in also helps with long lasting styles. That person maybe comes in once every 6 months for a haircut, and you pop a couple tape extensions in. Now they're coming in every 8 to 12 weeks. So
people will show you pictures of haircuts, but
mhm,
they don't have the hair for the haircut.
exactly. Right. So it's the solution. What's the solution for them? And if they say no, okay, no doesn't mean no forever. It just means not this time. But again, when we're talking about it with them every time, they're going to think about it. They're going to go home and think about it. There have been so many times where I recommended things. I'm like, we should try this on you or whatever, blah, blah. They're like, no, no, no. And then they end up calling and just be like, well, I thought about it and like, can we book that? Like my client who is coming in on the 19th, she is 1 row of extensions, right? And she wants lots of layers. And I'm like, well, we can do 2 rows and then we can give you lots of layers. I'm like, but with 1 row, you're really limited on what we can cut because you need that fullness for the bottom. She's like, yeah, okay. And then she sent me a message. She's like, we had the extension sale. She's like, I want to do the 2 rows. And I was like, okay. So now she's doing 2 rows. So again, we have to talk about what we can offer. Talk about timing. And the timing is going to be a couple things, right? It's going to be how long we take for the service. How can we cut our time without cutting the experience and cutting the end result? And again, timing is going to make the most of your schedule. If you have gaps in your schedule, if you've got 30 minutes here and there, look at your schedule. What you already have people coming in. How can you take the time up with somebody that's already in your schedule? Again, can you do a treatment? Can you do a toner? Can you do an extra long scalp massage so that you're filling the time that way? But also, like, where are you wasting time in the salon? you know Another thing is, I think a lot of people waste a lot of time trying to figure out formulation or trying to figure out like where you're going to do your placement. Again, reach out to your guests so that when they're coming in the salon, you have a plan. Yeah, absolutely. Use the messaging feature, and right. Imagine if you created a plan, say you had 3 people in your schedule and they're all new guests. Like, imagine if you reached out to each and every one of them and you had a plan for their hair before they came in. That would save you 45 minutes. Yeah. So, when we have a plan that saves time, when we know how to spend time on the right areas, it's going to save time. If you can cut 15 to 30 minutes off of every single guest, that's enough time. That's an hour to take an extra haircut. Pull out your calculator. I mean, it depends on what the client wants.
Right, because some people want to get
the experience.
want to spend time, right?
But again, that's something that you can message. Just be like, hey, I want to make sure that I cater your experience to what you like. Is that, is time an issue for you? Or are you really taking the time to, have me time? And do you want to be pampered? Because there are a lot of women who, don't want to be here for very long. And that's another thing. Timing is just as important as experience, because we get a lot of complaints about that too. We just got a complaint that somebody took too long for a haircut because there are timing expectations. So in the consultation, we also need to address that. What's your time frame look like for today? Are you in a hurry today? Because then we can kind of, again, like, we could reach out and say, is time an issue for you? Are you looking to be pampered for this experience? Want to make sure to custom tailor your time in the salon to what works for you. So let's say you have an extra hour, okay, in the salon because you worked on your placement, you worked on creating a plan before the client comes in, and you are building your speed, and you have an extra hour. Say you're working 4 days a week. Let's say you can get a haircut during that time. Okay. How much, who wants to give me their haircut price?
45, 55.
Okay, 55 times 4. Okay, times that by 52. That's how much extra money you can make for the year in revenue, times that by 0.42. It's no one thinks about it.
When you
Yeah.
when you break out the numbers,
Mhm.
is when you can see like, oh my god.
And that's why it's so important that we look at the facts. A lot of us get emotional about our business, and we are, we get in our head and we're like, oh, I need to make more money. We need more clients to get in. But sometimes it's not just about getting the clients in. Sometimes it's
Do more for the same.
right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So times it by 0.42.
4,800.
Okay. And then times that by the 8,000 because we add-ons, right? We talked about that. We talked about the pre-booking, 8,000. Talked about the pre-booking. We talked about the add-ons. And now if we cut time, what is it?
38.
Oh no, 8,000 plus. It was, what was it? 8,000 plus how much? It was 11,000. So it was 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's an extra $13,000 right there. Right? So you guys just made an extra $13,000 for the year. That's a down payment for a house. So it's these little things that are going to create the income that you want. And that's why we have to always have a plan. Like, how are we? I want to make more money. Who says that every day? Oh, I need to make more money. I need to make more money. But you're not like actually strategizing on how to do so.
Lightning session.
So it's not cheaper. It's just the lightning session includes the blowout. So you're just adding the cost of the haircut. So we're adding the blowout cost with the haircut. So technically it's not cheaper. It's just that's the price that it would be if they got a haircut and a blowout.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should be adding like the full price of the haircut onto the service?
No, because the blowout price is included in your lightning price. So it's your highlight price plus the toner plus the blowout is the price that your lightning sessions are including.
Okay,
so the blowout price is already incorporated in the, so if you're not incorporating your blowout price into that, because I know we talked about pricing, then we need to do that. And then we just take the blowout price minus your haircut, and that's your haircut add-on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's just what it would be for your haircut, but if you break up the haircut and the blowout.
Yeah, I've just been adding on, like if they do like a highlight, I just do $10, $15.
No, there's a haircut add-on.
Yeah.
It should,
I think mine is like $10 or $15.
maybe, because maybe the blowout's 40. So then that would make sense if it's 40, because it would be 15, would be 55.
Right,
Yeah. I also want to talk about what you're doing with your downtime. Like, you guys you're not double booking. You have 30-minute gaps here and there. Like, are you just scrolling on social media, or are you just like gossiping with the girls? Let's just say for every 10 posts you make on social media, it gets you one client. We post 3 times a day on the salon. You are not going to annoy people. Like, you can post multiple times a day on your page. Like, are you taking the time to post so you can get clients? Are you taking the time to build on something that you are lacking? Like, maybe it's your haircuts or your foiling. Like, you want to build your speed on foiling. How are you spending your downtime? Because you may not get an instant money result from being productive during your downtime, but let's just say you have an extra hour and a half for the week. Can you imagine if during those 30-minute sessions you just foiled a mannequin every single 30-minute break you had? Like, how fast would you be? What ideas would come to you about foil pattern ideas? You don't have to use obviously lightener, but you can use cholesterol just to work on your speed for your foiling. So, or maybe you need to learn how to do a bob, or maybe you want to get good at updos. Like, you can do an updo in 30 minutes and take a picture of it and post that in your story or on your social media. So it's not just like about generating revenue during our downtime, which you should be posting on social media. Hey, I have an opening for a haircut today at 7:00. Get a free gift if you take this, this service time. It's like, how can we proactively be doing things to either fill our book or to improve our skill? Because every minute counts, and it's how do you want to spend that minute? Okay, so I want to talk about the cost of empty time because we talked about how to make more money. But when we think about every 30-minute gap in our schedule as $50 lost, because you can do a brow in 30 minutes. That's why, well, it was the number one requested service when we did our survey. Everyone wanted brows, they wanted that option. So that's why I brought it on. But you can do brows in 30 minutes. So you could either lose $6,500 during those times that are open, or you can make $6,500 by doing a brow service or adding on a treatment. It's your choice on the action you take in order to get the result that you want. I personally I have lots of things to do for the salon, but I would want to make an extra 6,500, not lose it. So speed of service, it does not mean you're cutting corners. You're working with focus, eliminating wasted motions, delivering the same or better quality in less time. I also want to talk about saving time by setting up for your day. And this is why it's so important you guys don't come in at 2 o'clock if you have a 2 o'clock. You need to get here early. You need to set up your carts. You need to grab the capes. What is your drink plan for your client? What can you do to set up for a big service that you have when it comes to extensions? Like I'm always, if I have an extension and I know I can't get here 15, I will set it up the night before, right? So what do you need to do to prep for the service so you're not taking that extra 15 minutes grabbing foils, grabbing a comb, grabbing a color brush? Do it at the beginning of your day. And that again is going to save you time. It's like all these little things add up. Okay. So if your highlight service takes 2.5 hours, but you can refine your workflow, we kind of already talked about this. If you can gain 30 extra minutes, that can be an extra $50 to $100 every day, $150 every day. Okay, so ways to improve with your speed, prep before the guest gets here, tools, foils. I wouldn't mix color because whenever you do that, they're always like, oh, I tried something different today. And you're like, I just wasted color. I don't want you guys to waste color, but pull the boxes down. Put them in the bowl because that's what you're going to use. So you're not like 2 minutes wasting looking for the boxes. It all adds up. Streamline your process, avoid backtracking. So what is the logical order? Again, this is putting thought into what we're doing every day. Like, do you need extra big foils for somebody? Like, just making sure that you have everything prepped. Exactly. Yeah. That's why we have to ask. You guys have contact with all of your guests. Like, we try to give you as many tools for success as we can because it is obviously important to me. Like, my main goal for every single person in this salon is to really make sure that you guys are maximizing your potential and you're successful. And I hope you guys can see that, feel that, understand that. That's why I take the time to work with you guys, and I really take time to give you guys classes. And I literally, if you guys saw all the time I spent on my phone, like promoting you guys on social media, like I want you to be successful because without you, I am not successful, right? And I am just like, you are just a reflection of the leadership and what I'm doing. And I really want you guys to love working here. And part of loving where your work is making money, right? And having clients that you love. Okay. For help, there's always somebody to help you blow dry, and if you have a big service coming in, like we can schedule you guys together, we'll schedule Maya or schedule Jessica to do a T&M service with you. If you know you've got a big project coming in and you're like, I think I'm going to need an extra hour for this service, I don't want to run behind, or I really want to cut this service time so I can fit this guest in who wants this specific time frame, tell us. We'll make that happen for you. There is always a solution. The whole goal is to get the client in the door. And whatever we need to do that to get that to happen, we will do if we can. So again, if you need help with blow drying, if you need help with applying foils, which I know you're going to start helping Maggie with her bigger projects, like just let us know. If you want to get more clients and if you're super scheduled and you have somebody who wants to get in for a haircut and you're like, well, if I cut 15 minutes off of each service, or even if I move my blow dries to somebody else, like that, so I can get a big color service in, that's more money for you and more money for the person who isn't booked yet. Okay. Consultations. I can't stress this enough that 9 times out of 10, when a client isn't happy, it is not a technical issue. It's a communication issue. Okay. We don't want to fill our books with adjustments. We just don't. because again, that's money away from full paying clients, and it's money away from the salon, and it's just gonna lessen our confidence. And we want to build it, not drop it. Okay. So every consultation, you guys need to talk about meaningful upgrades, the right products, timing, and you need to deliver the services efficiently.